Good morning and welcome to today's service, everyone. And today I am invited to the Japanese graduation banquet this afternoon. And it is already the beginning of the graduation season. It's still May, but this is the beginning of the graduation season. I believe we only have one senior who's graduating from the temple, not temple, but high school, but congratulations to all the students who are graduating from school. And I think graduation from high school was something special, since I knew that I was moving away from the home and starting the new life living in the apartment. When I was a senior in high school, I was on the waiting list to go to Keio University in Tokyo. But they are really popular university, so not many people canceled to go there. So I think that was around March 20 something. I finally decided to go to Ritsumeikan University in Kyoto. And the school in Japan begins from April. So you can see how I was really waiting to go to Keio University. But I only had like a week to find the apartment and move from my hometown to Kyoto. But there is no what if in our lives. But if I went to Keio University, my life was totally different. And I might not have been here as a Buddhist minister today. And at that time, I was so disappointed that I could not go to Keio University. But because I went to Ritsumeikan in Kyoto, I met Namiko, and now I have 2 children. So what makes you disappointing at the moment might not be so disappointing at all when you look back your life in the future. I believe important thing is that whatever choice you make, enjoy yourself. Your decision to go to school or work or whatever, that is the beginning of your future. Shakyamuni Buddha, he showed us how we can change through his life. He was a prince, but he abandoned his position and became a monk, and he became the awakened one, the Buddha. This means that we can change the future by our action. And your action will create your future. So act wisely. And I know that there is a mixed feeling of hope, excitement, and anxiety for the new life. But I am sure that new life will be fun. And please don't forget how much you receive from the people around you. In Buddhism, this feeling is expressed as Om. This is a translation of a Pali word katangyu, and it means to know what have been done for you and keeping it in your heart or our heart. That is katangyu or Om. And we could not be here today without the help of the people around us, and especially the help of families and friends. And it is the wish of the people around us to live peacefully, happily, and healthy. So please keep this feeling of Om, katangyu, in your heart always, and act wisely to respond to the wishes of the people around you. So I would like to conclude the Dharma School talk with Gassho and Nembutsu. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Nam. Nam. And now I would like to share verses from Shoshin, which was written by our founder, Shinnan Shonin. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together again. 弥陀仏の本願を憶念すれば、次年に即の時出場にいる。ただよく常に如来の皆を称して、大悲具勢の恩を報ずべしと言えりと。The moment one thinks on Amida's primal vow, one is naturally brought to enter the stage of the definitely settled. Solely saying the Tathagata's name constantly, one should respond with gratitude to the universal vow of great compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. So good morning again, everyone. And oh yeah, you are wearing the mask, so that's why I don't hear you. I guess. I hope you are safe and well. That's why I believe you are here today. And you know, this is already May. We only have how many months to go? 7? Time flies, right? But you know, every July at Nishi Hongwanji, that's our mother temple in Kyoto, there is a study session called Ango is being held. And I have talked about Ango in my past Dharma talk, but to save your time finding the video, I was talking about Ango out of, I don't know how many videos we have, like 1,000 videos or something. You know, to save your time, I'm going to explain what Ango is. And Ango have a long history, really long history. It goes back to Shakyamuni Buddha's time. So how long ago was it? Shakyamuni Buddha's time. Yes. 2,500 or close to 2,600 years ago, right? And I believe Shakyamuni Sangha traveled a lot. And we can see that from the first part of the sutras. For example, Amida Sutra said, I hope I have it in the slide, right? So I ignored the diacritics. So, you know, you don't see the diacritics, but it said at one time, the Buddha was staying in Anathapindada's garden of Jeta Grove in the city of Shravasti. And, you know, the Shravasti is the one, the red dot, that is the Shravasti. And another sutra titled the Contemplation Sutra said, at one time, the Buddha was staying on Vulture Peak in Rajagriha. And do you see the red dot? Yeah, you see it, right? And it is difficult to tell how far it is, but it is about 300 miles. 300 miles. So Shakyamuni Buddha's Sangha traveled from place to place with many disciples following him. 300 miles, right? How far is it from here to Seattle, Vancouver? Yeah, so can you imagine you walking from here to Vancouver? That's really a long distance, isn't it? But there's a rainy season in India. And if the Sangha travel during the rainy season, there's a danger of losing lives by, you know, flood or something else. And to avoid killing living creatures on the ground by stepping on them, the Sangha stayed in one place during the rainy season. And this was the original idea of Ango, and it was originally called Varsa in Sanskrit, and it meant rainy, but it is translated as Ango, and it literally means peaceful state, a peaceful state. And at the end of the day of Varsa, the monks gathered and confessed their wrongdoings during Varsa. And according to Vinaya, that is the regulations of the Sangha, it was July 15th. And on this day, the Sangha received offerings from the lay people And this became the origin of Obon. And today is not Obon, so talking about Obon is not the main subject of today, but Ango has long history. And in our tradition, Jodo Shinshu, Ango means to gather in one place to study. So it started 1639. So it has about 400 years of history. And it is held at Ryukoku University right next to Nishi Hongwanji. And this is the lecture hall of Ryukoku University. And at Ango, each participant were appointed for the discussion on the topic regarding Shinjin or doctrine. So it is really stressful, to be a part of the discussion in front of, eminent scholars of our traditions. So it's far from the literal translation of the term Ango. Ango meant peaceful state, right? But it's really stressful. But it's really a great occasion to deepen the understanding of the Jodo Shinshu doctrine and make more Dharma friends. And I'm talking about Ango in May. The reason is that I just received last year's report on Ango. And this list, who attended Ango, what kind of discussion were held, and who received award and such. And actually, I received an award for excellence at the discussion last year. And to move up to the next level, actually, there are a few ranks of the ministers who hold the scholarly titles. Tokugo is the bottom, then Jokyo, Hokyo, Shikyo, and Kangaku. And I'm at the bottom. And to move up to the next rank, I need to receive 3 awards of excellence. So I still have a long way to go, but I am glad that I was able to receive the award. So last year, Ango was held online for the first time in the history. And because of that, I was able to participate in it, not traveling to Japan, but from my home. And one of the main topic of the discussion was Shomyo Hoon. And our tradition can be simply expressed with the 8 Chinese characters. So if we can understand the meaning of 8 Chinese characters, you can describe what Jodo Shinshu is. That is Shinjin Shoin Shomyo Hoon. This expresses the teaching of Jodo Shinshu. Our true cause of the attainment of birth, attainment of Buddhahood is Shinjin, entrusting heart. And recitation of the name is Hoon. So I intentionally left blank for the explanation of the word Hoon, because this is what I want to talk about today. And I talked about Om for the Dharma school talk. And this is to know what have been done for you. So, katangyu. In this case, this is Amida Buddha establishing the universal primal vow to save all beings. And Shinran Shonin accepted as this vow is established just for me, just for the sake of myself alone. And this is the attitude we Jodo Shinshu followers follow. Amida Buddha established the primal vow to save all beings. And all beings does not mean other person's business. It is about this being, each individual's. And Shinran Shonin accepted as just for the sake of myself alone, because he knew how he possesses the blind passions and how he was never able to get rid of the blind passion through his self-power. And it is the same for me, and maybe same for you. And I possess the blind passions such as greed, anger, ignorance, envy, and so on. And it never disappears. So Amida Buddha established, excuse me, the vow to save all beings through the power, through the working of the name Namo Amida Butsu. So we ordinary beings are able to attain Buddhahood through this working without distinguishing the fire or flame of the blind passions inside of us. And receiving this working without doubt, that is called Shinji, interesting word. And it is often likened to GPS. You know, I just follow GPS when I go to the unfamiliar places. And of course, GPS is not perfect. So sometimes it makes mistakes and takes us to different locations. I still remember when I was in Sacramento, I was looking for Target, you know, the market Target. And I typed in Target and it took us the auto shop named Target. That wasn't the Target I was looking for. I was looking for the Target nearby, you know, the shop. But so the GPS cannot be the perfect example, but you know what I want to say, right? GPS leads us to the destination, and I don't doubt the working of it. I just follow when I type in the destination. So just like this, Amida Buddha is guiding us, or better to say, Amida Buddha is taking us or driving us to the attainment of Buddhahood. And all other Buddhas are recommending us to follow the path of Amida Buddha. You know, one time I used an application called Yelp as example. Many people probably use Yelp, but people review restaurants or any services and give stars and leave comments, right? And recommendation of the Buddhas are like the review on the Yelp, recommending us the working of Amida Buddha with 5 stars, So we just follow the recommendation. So, our attainment of Buddhahood is settled through the working of Amida Buddha. And when we entrust ourselves to the working of Amida Buddha, we enter the stage of the truly settled or definitely settled to attain Buddhahood. So this is the meaning of the first 2 verses. The moment one thinks of Amida's primal vow, one is naturally brought to enter the stage of the definitely settled. This is the verses I shared at the beginning of my talk. Then, latter 2 verses talks about recitation of the name and Ho-on. And this translation, collected works of Shinran, used the word respond as a translation of the character Ho, first highlighted red character. And I was rereading this record of Ango from last year, and it said that this character Ho has 3 meanings. One is to report, We use this character and make an idiom, hokoku. Hokoku means to report. So reporting something to someone. And this is one of the meanings of the character. But we are not reciting Nembutsu, or we are not saying Namo Amida Butsu to let somebody know of why Amida Buddha established the primal vow. So this is not the meaning of the character for now. And second meaning is to repay. And we often use this expression, repay the debt of gratitude we owe, right? Repay the debt of gratitude we owe. And the word ho-on is often used in this sense in Japanese. But the first meaning of the English word repay in the dictionary is to pay back a loan, debt, or sum of money. And if we don't pay back in full, we don't say repay, right? Do we? Do we say it? I'm not sure, but this is our tradition's understanding that what we received from Amida's primal vow is something we cannot repay in full. And our Nembutsu cannot be repaying the debt of gratitude we owe to Amida Buddha. So we are not talking about repaying the debt of gratitude we owe to Amida Buddha when we say Hoon. And in the past, I might have misunderstood the meaning of Hoon and talked about in this meaning, like repaying the debt of gratitude, but that's not actually correct. Okay, so the third meaning, to respond, is the final meaning of this character. And the recitation of the name Namo Amida Butsu is to respond with gratitude to the universal vow of which arose from the great compassion of Amida Buddha. And I have talked about the understanding of Genza, the Myokomi, who really enjoyed the teaching of Nembutsu. But he often said, welcome, welcome. Nanmandabu, nanmandabu, yokoso, yokoso, nanmandabu, nanmandabu. And I explained that Namo Amida Butsuzu, Namo, Namo, has the meaning salutation, right? Salutation. And salutation is a gesture or actions of acknowledging another's arrival. So Genza was recognizing the arrival of the working of Amida Buddha. And he was responding with gratitude, putting the hands together by saying, oh, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming to me. And nanmandabu, nanmandabu, right? So we are not saying Nembutsu to request Amida Buddha to come here and to save us. That's not Nembutsu. But Amida's working is already here and filling the world. And we acknowledge the working of Amida Buddha with saying Nanmandabu Nembutsu, right? So the direction of the working is always from Amida Buddha and coming from Amida Buddha and not from our side. This is what Jodo Shinshu teaching is. And that is why our tradition is expressed with these 8 characters. Shin, Jin, Shoin, Shomyo, Hon. True cause of our attainment of Buddhahood is Shinjin, entrusting heart. And the recitation of the name Namo Amida Butsu is to respond with gratitude to the universal primal vow of Amida Buddha. So this is the core of the teaching, When we know the core of the teaching, we can, appreciate the teaching more and we can apply to our daily lives. So I thought this is really important to talk about these 8 characters, Shinjin, Shoin, Shomyo, Hon. So I wanted to revisit this topic today. And I hope today's Dharma talk was not overwhelming. If it was, you can go to YouTube and watch it over and over again until it's soaked into you. So I hope it was something somehow helpful. And in closing, please put your palms together. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu.